Welcome to Spiedel's California Minute. I'm your host, Catherine Zidane. This week, we're covering some California filing updates to be aware of for the start of the 2025 filing season. And while filing season has just begun, that doesn't mean it's too early to sign up for Spiedel's post-tax season update and review webinar happening in May. Get answers to all the questions that pop up during tax season, plus 8 hours of CPE. For details, go to caltax.com and click webinars. The 2025 filing season is upon us, so here's a reminder of some filing developments and a few new forms to be aware of when preparing 2024 tax returns. The FTB announced the official opening of filing season is January 7th, but the FTB had begun accepting 2024 returns as early as January 2nd. There is a new form to use for making an election to treat a suspended business credit amount as a refundable credit. SB 167 limits the total amount of business credits, other than the low-income housing credit, that some taxpayers can claim against personal income and corporation franchise and income taxes during each taxable year beginning on or after January 1st, 2024, and before January 1st, 2027. For those years, business credits cannot reduce a taxpayer's net tax for personal income taxpayers or tax for corporate taxpayers by more than $5 million. SB 175 allows a taxpayer to make an irrevocable election in a tax year in which the $5 million credit limitation applies to treat the suspended credit amounts as a refundable credit. The election is made with a timely filed original return on Form FTB 3870, Election for Refundable Credit. As of the date of this podcast, the form was not yet available. Taxpayers can claim 20% of this refundable credit in each year of a 5-year refundable period. The refundable period begins with the third taxable year after the taxable year in which the election is made. There's also a new form to use regarding disaster relief deadline postponements. Applicable to any federally declared disaster or governor-proclaimed emergency made on or after June 27, 2024, SB 167 grants sole authority to the California Director of Finance to determine whether a taxpayer is affected by a state of emergency and is eligible for certain California tax-related deadlines, and the postponement deadline for affected taxpayers to comply with their California filing and payment requirements. If the Director of Finance sets a shorter postponement period than the federal postponement period, impacted taxpayers can still qualify for additional California postponement relief up to the federal deadline if the taxpayer, upon request, provides specific information to the FTB. The request for an additional postponement period is made by filing new Form FTB 3872, California Disaster Relief Request for Postponement of Tax Deadlines. Here are some of the new exclusions from income. AB 2979 excludes from personal income taxation payments received from the California Victim Compensation Board. However, AB 2979 also states that similar payments paid from the New York Crime Victims Compensation Board have been excluded from gross income since the IRS issued Revenue Ruling 74-74, and that California conforms to the definition of gross income in IRC Section 61. SB 946 excludes for both personal income and corporation franchise and income tax purposes California qualified wildfire loss mitigation payments effective for the 2024 through 2028 tax years. A California qualified wildfire loss mitigation payment is any amount received through the California Wildfire Mitigation Financial Assistance Program. The exclusion is only available to taxpayers that own the structure for which the mitigation payment was received. California does not conform to the federal provision that allows taxpayers to make a tax and penalty-free rollover from IRC Section 529 plans to a Roth IRA, provided certain conditions are met. This means taxpayers who make such a rollover are required to include this distribution in taxable income, and the distribution is also subject to the 2.5% early distribution tax. The rollover distribution would be reported on Schedule CA, Line 8Z. There's still time to attend Spiedel's Federal and California Tax Update and get a refresher on all of the tax news and developments that happened during 2024. For a list of live webinar and in-person seminar dates and locations, go to caltax.com. That's all for this week. Join us next time for another episode of Spiedel's California Minute.